Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, let's analyze what this Tottenham 3, Chelsea 4 was all about. A spectacular match, an amazing game, a real match. While watching the match, here we have Palmer, who I think, along with Jude Bellingham, is the best English midfielder at the moment. By far, Palmer and Bellingham, but by far. And if we talk about players in general, we should also mention Harry Kane. But for me, Palmer and Bellingham are the best English midfielders right now, by a wide margin. Unbelievable talent. Palmer, who, by the way, scored 2 goals today, both from penalties, has now reached 11 goals. And Chelsea, which has 35 goals in the Premier League, is the highest scoring team in the league, has moved up to second today behind Liverpool. It's true that Liverpool has a game in hand, but here we have this gesture from Palmer that seems to say, well, how far can we go? Because it's true, and it's something I want to go into a little bit more in the video. Let's analyze what this tremendous match between Tottenham and Chelsea was like. It is true that Manchester City's bad moment, Manchester City's crisis, which has been unable to beat Crystal Palace Usand, and Liverpool's great moment, which is surely the team in the best form in Europe right now. Yesterday, they did not play against Everton because they suspended the match, is overshadowing quite a bit and unfairly, but it is overshadowing Chelsea's great moment, especially Chelsea's great offensive moment, with players who are in spectacular form, among others. Enzo Fernández, who you already know is one of my proteges as a footballer. I'm really excited about Enzo. I said it, and I'll keep saying it. I love Enzo Fernández, and it's true that he's been on a fantastic streak in the last few matches. And there's a lot to analyze, for example, the situation with Caicedo as a right back. All right, let's analyze all of that. Let's break down the match. Let's go through the 11 players and look at many aspects of what this amazing game between Tottenham and Chelsea was all about. April 3rd. All right, let's go. All right, let's go, friends of Mundo Maldini. It's clear that Tottenham is going through a rough patch. Tottenham, which not long ago lost 0-4 against Manchester City and has been on a pretty bad run of results since that match, lost again today, going down 2-0 very early on. But Chelsea, Tottenham is struggling. Postecoglou's team is not doing well. That's obvious. They are having a season well below the expected level. There are players who are doing better. For example, Kulusevski, he's having a good season, but Chelsea is a whole different story. In attack, it's a wonderful team. Chelsea is a magnificent team. It's a spectacle, match after match, watching this Chelsea team under Maresca. And I have to say that Enzo Fernández is reaching an incredibly high level. And I want to analyze a lot about Caicedo as a right back. First of all, let's take a look at the starting 11, friends of Mundo Maldini, because there are quite a few significant things to analyze in depth. Forster in goal for Tottenham with Pedro Porro and Udogie. On the wings, we have Van de Ven and Romero, who, by the way, have both gotten injured. Let's see what happens with Tottenham's upcoming matches, because both Van de Ven and Romero have gotten injured. Things are looking bad for Tottenham. Bissouma, Sarr and Kulusevski, who has definitely played in the attacking third at many moments. Of course, Johnson, Son Heung-min and Solanke. Son Heung-min, who is not having a good season. When Johnson comes on, Chelsea definitely looks a lot better. Sanchez in goal, Caicedo as right back, Moises Caicedo. Already played there against Aston Villa. It seems to me that Caicedo is definitely a midfielder. He's clearly a midfielder. At times he can move into the middle, and then in the second half he changed things up and Chelsea improved a lot. We'll analyze that later. Badiashile with Colwell and Cucurella, who had a tough time in the first half. Now let's talk about the issue with the 2 rebounds that cost them the 2 goals. Lavia and Enzo Fernández. It's true that Lavia seems like a really good midfielder to me, and in fact when he arrived he got injured and missed a year without playing, but when he comes on he does really well. But it's clear that Caicedo has to play alongside Enzo Fernández. There are very few double pivots better in the Premier League. And I would say in European football, honestly, at the elite level, then Caicedo and Fernández together, they can match any double pivot we might see. And then Pedro Neto on the right, Palmer in the middle, Sancho, who scored a really good goal and was very involved. He was also fouled for a penalty. He's been at a great level too. And Jackson up front, Palmer, best player of the match. Palmer is an absolute spectacle. Palmer, friends of Mundo Maldini, is an absolute spectacle. Right now, there isn't a player with talent like Palmer's in the Premier League, at least among English players. I would say that at this moment, he might be the biggest talent in the Premier League. There are players of a very high level in Liverpool, but I think the one who stands out the most compared to the others in his own team right now is Cole Palmer. For me, it's definitely Cole Palmer. What a tremendous level. By the way, it was pretty ugly from the Tottenham fans who started throwing little paper balls at both Enzo and Palmer during the corners, but that detail was pretty ugly. And I imagine it's going to cost them a sanction from the FA. Speaking a bit about Tottenham, here we have an image of Postecoglou. He started off really well. He started off really well with 2 goals in the first 10 or 12 minutes. And he really almost scored the third goal, Usand. But from there, Chelsea gradually started to take control. They started to take control. It's just that up front, Chelsea, when they start to dominate you and manage the ball, in the second half, there were moments of 20, 81, 19 possession. And of course, a team with everything Chelsea has going for it. In the end, while watching the match, it was clear that Chelsea was going to come back. I mean, it was pretty obvious. Sancho scored. Chelsea dominated. Tottenham had few options. Romero and Van de Ven injuries are a problem for Tottenham, with Kulusevski scoring. Tottenham's goals were from Cucurella slipping from wrong boots. Cudi Romero has gotten injured. Van de Ven has gotten injured, so that's going to be a serious problem. Tottenham, who has been doing well with Kulusevski, he scored a good goal. By the way, the first two goals for Tottenham, I'm not saying they weren't good goals. Kulusevski's was a great shot, but it came from 2 times Cucurella slipped. He was wearing the wrong boots, obviously Cucurella, because then he slipped again, which cost them the first goal, and he slipped again, which cost them the second goal. And logically, he went to the sideline to throw his boots on the grass and grab another pair. And from there, they have been recovering like the whole of Chelsea, which has recovered from a 2-0 very quickly to end up winning on April 3rd. In fact, Tottenham's third goal comes almost when the match was already decided. Here we have Solanke's first goal, a good cross from Johnson from the right, and then Solanke's goal. Kulusevski would score later, but Chelsea's reaction has been spectacular. Good match for Jadon Sancho too, who is doing really well playing on the left side. Pedro Neto is a player who can play in any attacking position, on the wing, like we've seen him in the Portuguese national team as a false 9, left, right. But if Chelsea has Don Sancho at this level right now, it's clear that Jadon Sancho has to be a starter, and I really liked his game. He wasn't the man of the match, that was Palmer, but I really liked his game. And then we need to talk a bit about Moises Caicedo as we start the second half. Here we have the field at the start of the second half. Caicedo has moved to the midfield, which is his natural position, and Malo Gusto has come on. And this detail of playing with Caicedo and Enzo has been crucial. Caicedo has caused a penalty. Caicedo has been absolutely crucial in the match for Chelsea's comeback. Absolutely crucial, friends of Mundo Madrid, for Chelsea's comeback. He's at a spectacular level. And Enzo Fernández, of course, as well. The level of both has been tremendous in the last few matches. Let's take a look at some details from Flash Score so you can see 17 shots from Chelsea. It's a team that's really something. Let me check the data on Wisecout, because they still don't have it for this match. But I need to see if it's not the team that shoots the most in the Premier League. They have to be up there too with Liverpool, but they have to be one of the teams that shoots the most, both on target and off Chelsea, because they're a machine for offensive football. It's a real machine for offensive football. She has shot 8 times on target and 17 times overall compared to Tottenham's 13 shots, 5 of which were on target. The match promised goals, and it definitely delivered. The match has been truly spectacular in every way, the match we've just seen. Let's finish by talking about Palmer, because right now, there's no player, I insist, no player with the talent of Palmer, who, by the way, scored the second goal from a penalty. The first was a good shot right by the post, but the second was a Panenka penalty right down the middle, really showing off the incredible level Palmer has. I want to remind you that Mr. Southgate didn't start him in the Euro Cup. He didn't start him in the Euro Cup, but he ended up playing and even scored the goal in the final against Spain. However, during the Euro Cup, he didn't start Palmer because of the level he's at. It's true that Foden arrived at the Euros in pretty good shape, being voted the best player in the Premier League, which is, by the way, in a very bad moment right now. But, well, it seems that it put Foden out of his position. But anyway, we already made those Euro Cup videos. You have all of them. In short, for me, Palmer is the best English player in the Premier League right now. I have no doubt about it. I have no doubt that Chelsea can compete for the league title against Liverpool. Right now, they're ahead of Manchester City in terms of team quality, and I have no doubt about that. So for now, Chelsea is playing excellent football, and Maresca, who we saw last season as he led his team to promotion, is establishing himself as one of the top coaches in European football right now. That's how it is, friends of Mundo Maldini. And you know, you'll keep getting a lot of Premier League videos here because, by the way, it's the best league in the world. In my opinion, I honestly don't think so. It's hard to have any doubt that the Premier League is the best league in the world. A hug. Bye, 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 bye.